Welcome to the Huey and Angelina Wilson Foundation's Prison Reentry Initiative Training, Part 4 of 7, Results Thinking and Target Statements. How do you define results for your program or project? What does success look like? We want you to try on results thinking to see if it might be a match for the way you do your work. Before beginning this video, please download the Defining Results guide sheet that corresponds with the type of application you will be submitting, located on our website, www.hawilsonfoundation.org/prison reentry. Click on Applicant Resources on the left of the page. The concepts we will discuss are presented in these guide sheets to help you flesh out your project in a results framework. There are two key parts to results thinking. Our partners at the Rensselaerville Institute define results thinking for nonprofits by first being able to answer 3 questions. These questions are deceptively simple, and most people don't take the time to get clarity around them. However, being able to answer these 3 questions is the key to achieving strong results. Our plan is to work with each applicant to make sure you are able to answer these questions for your project. Number 1. How do you define success, meaning the results of your services or project? We are looking for a sustained change in behavior or condition for the people who participate in your project. Number 2. How do you know for sure when success has been achieved? We want you to determine before you start your project how you will verify the successes you have defined. Number 3. How do you know throughout your project that you have enough time and money remaining to achieve the success you have defined? This question helps us know as you work on your project if you are likely to be successful and achieve the results you defined when you answered the first question. A deep look at each of these questions will help you and your organization know whether the work you are doing is making a difference. Let's take a look at some examples of strong result statements. We trained 100 employers on the benefits of hiring formerly incarcerated individuals. Versus 10 employers trained hired 1 formerly incarcerated individual and employed them for 6 or more months. Do you see the difference in these 2 examples? In the first, we trained 100 employers, but we have no idea what the outcome or result of that training was. In the second, it is quite clear that as a result of the training, 10 returning citizens have had gainful employment for 6 months or more. Let's look at another. I counted 60 participants in our program who learned stress management and yoga techniques, versus 40 participants reported engaging in yoga practices 30 minutes a day, 3 times per week, and managing their anger 8 weeks after the program was concluded. Do you see the difference here? Once again, in the first example, we know how many people took the class, but simply taking a class does not equate to changes in behavior. In the second example, we can see clearly that 40 people had changed their behavior as a result of the classes we provided. In the second example, we can see clearly that 40 people had changed their behavior as a result of the classes we provided. Let's do one more. We distributed 4,000 flyers and had 300 people participate in our Reentry Community Engagement Initiative, versus 25 of the 300 community members engaged are serving as mentors to incarcerated and formerly incarcerated individuals. How about the difference between these 2? In the first, you distributed 4,000 flyers. So what? What difference did the flyers make? If you say, well, we got 300 to participate in our event, then I'm going to respond again with what difference did that make? In the second example, the outcome or result of 25 newly engaged mentors is the change in which we are more interested. An even better result is that 15 of those 25 are mentoring for at least 6 months. All of these results on the right side of the slide are the types of results in which we are seeking to make investments. We want clearly defined changes in behavior or condition. So how do we get to these big outcomes? We set targets and milestones. Targets are the long-term specific changes in core participant behavior, condition, or status that defines success for the program. They are tangible, verifiable, and within the influence of an implementer. Milestones are the short-term interim changes in behaviors, condition, or status that define progress toward meeting the target. We'll discuss milestones in the next video. For now, let's discuss how we apply targets specifically to your project. Let's take a look at each of these concepts, how they work, and how to create them. Since project results are what grant success is based on, let's go over a 4-step process to help you define what success for your target population looks like. We break it up into 4 parts to make it easier to define success. Step 1. Identify the change in behavior you seek for your core participants. Step 2. Specify the degree of change you consider a success. Step 3. Estimate how many participants will be impacted or changed and by when. In this case, the when is the end of the grant period. Step 4. Express your results in a structured statement. We'll get to that and show you the format in a moment. Step 1. Defining the kind of change you seek for those you serve. To identify what the change might be, we suggest a good starting point is how participants are before they begin your program. Let's say your participants are unemployed, isolated from family and community, and are generally in poor health. With these characteristics in mind, one approach is to identify success as reducing some of the negative behaviors or conditions they have when they come into your program. So if they are unemployed, when they complete your program, they should be employed. If they are isolated from their family or community, upon completion they should have reconnected with a family, if appropriate, or have gained ties in the community. If they are generally in poor health, they are connected to health providers necessary to achieve and maintain good health. Specify the degree of change you consider to be success. Now that we have some clarity about the type of change we seek, how much change is enough for us to consider it a success? In our previous example, we specified that employment, reconnections with family and community supports, and healthy and able to maintain employment were the changes in behavior that we sought. What degree or length of time is enough? How do you measure whether someone has changed their behaviors and sustained them? They are no longer unemployed and have gained and maintained employment for 6 months. Being connected with 3 family members or community members 1 or more times per week reduces a feeling of isolation. Maintenance of a physician-prescribed healthcare treatment plan for 6 months is an indication of a connection to health providers. Step 3. Estimate how many participants will be impacted or changed and by when. Targets must have a number attached to them to be effective. The number gives you something to work toward, and your participants' progress tells you if things are working out as expected. The question is, using your best knowledge and assumptions, how many do you think will succeed? Use whole participant numbers, not percentages, because we want to make expectations and tracking clear and easy. When you consider the total number that will change, we are referring to how many by the end of the grant period. When choosing the number of participants you will try to reach, consider the following. You may have experience with past participants that gives you a good idea of how many typically get to the results you seek for them. We realize not everyone will get there within the grant period. Some people need more time than others. So use what you have seen in the past to give you an idea of what to expect in the future. We understand that participants that have more barriers to succeed may take longer and cost more to achieve success. Be sure to consider the level of difficulty of your participant group in considering how many will achieve success within the grant period. Programs that run over a longer period of time may also have participants already moving down the results trail to success. Be sure to include both new and existing participants already being served in your projection. You include all participants served during the calendar year, regardless of whether they entered the program during that year or in a previous year. Step 4. Use a structured format. You have just identified all of the content portions of your result. Now you'll want to pull your results into a single statement for clarity. We find a structured format is most helpful. Let's go back to the example we've been using. Here is a sample structured format. By December 31st, 2017, of the 66 returning citizens we serve, at least 44 will connect with 3 family or community members 1 or more times per week and gain and maintain employment for 6 months. You can see that each of the content portions is evident in this one statement. What change is that the participants will connect with 3 family or community members and gain and maintain employment. To what degree is 1 or more times per week and for 6 months respectively. By how many participants is at least 44 of the 66 served, and by what date is December 31st, 2017. There are 3 different types of target results statement formats: single focus, individualized approach, and menu focus. This is an example of a single focus. Let's look at another. The single focus is used for a project where everyone is getting to the same finish line. By December 31st, 2017, 40 of the 100 participants who participate in the Healthy Living programs will pass all drug tests for at least 3 months after re-entering their community. Single focus is when all participants are aiming at the same target. It is clear, time-bound, and doable with a stretch. The individualized approach, where results are very specific to each client, but you are aiming for a broader result. By December 31st, 2017, 40 of the 60 participants in the financial management program will engage in 2 or more financially responsible behaviors identified in their financial stability plan for 3 or more months. The program seeks to enhance financial stability for all of their participants, but each participant has different barriers and needs. Each participant in this program creates an individual accountability plan, and their success is monitored by their progress in that plan. If you use an individualized approach, your individual accountability or case plan must include highly specific milestones. The menu focus. When there are a variety of changes that equal success for those you serve, the menu approach allows you to determine what changes are important and how many of them need to be achieved for it to be a success. By December 31st, 2017, of the 40 incarcerated and formerly incarcerated citizens participating in a reentry readiness program, 25 will achieve at least 2 of the following: reconnected with a family member or friend and maintained relationship for at least 3 months, demonstrated use of positive parenting skills with children for at least 1 month, maintained a job for 3 months. All of these items are important, and if a participant can achieve 2 of them, they are considered successful. Lastly, how are you going to verify that you have achieved this nicely crafted target result statement? Verification. Notice we did not say validation. Verification simply asks you to find out if those you serve achieved the results, yes or no. Verification is under your control and is easier and less costly than an outside evaluation aimed at proving programmatic causality. We understand that your participants would not have achieved the results without your program. That is why we make the investment in the first place. Verification is just confirming that the change actually occurred. Here are some ways to easily confirm that results did indeed happen. You may already be using specific measuring instruments in the work you do to assess behavior change over time. If you are not already using specific tools, we suggest using documents or other artifacts that are easy to obtain on your own or through your participants. A credit score change can be easily obtained through the internet. Verification of a new job can be seen through pay stubs or an employment letter already received by the participant. In some cases, It makes most sense to use staff observations to assess a change for those they work with. In other situations, participant self-reporting can be the most effective way to find out if and how their behavior or condition has changed. Here's an application tip. In your application, there is a section titled Your Results. In this section, you will need to indicate in a results statement the changes in behavior or condition you expect your participants to achieve. For capacity and collaboration and systems change applications, you will need results statements for results to be realized by the end of the grant period, as well as results to be realized after the new capacity, collaboration, or systems change is fully implemented. You will also be asked how you plan to verify these changes. This concludes this portion of our training series. We encourage potential applicants to make use of all resources available to them, including these videos, workbooks, and guide sheets. The video training series includes videos on Guidelines and Approach, where we discuss the background of the Prison Reentry Initiative, its guidelines, and the Foundation's approach. Strategic Map and Results Trails. These documents together define the outcomes we are seeking from our grantee partners. Spark Plugs describes people who are catalysts for change in whom we want to invest. Results Thinking and Target Statements. This video is meant to help you move from thinking about your programs in terms of what you do to thinking about your programs in terms of what results you get for your clients. Milestones, the individual markers on your pathway to success. The applications. This video is a walkthrough of each of our 3 types of applications. Application timeline, access, and next steps walks you through important dates and accessing and creating your application through our online portal. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact the Foundation at any time. 225-292-1344 or www.hawilsonfoundation.org.